Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Hello and welcome to WrestleTalk's Remember When series. I am Luke Owen, and in this video we're going to be looking at a forgotten moment from the Phenom's career. Remember when The Undertaker was both the dead man and the American Badass? Let me take you back to 1999. The Undertaker was the top heel in the company, having dominated much of the year feuding with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, while being the leader of the Ministry of Darkness and the corporate ministry. He had adapted his original Undertaker gimmick to a much darker place, speaking in tongues and brainwashing other wrestlers as the Lord of Darkness. He sacrificed Stone Cold, made people drink his blood, and even tried to marry Stephanie McMahon in an unholy union. But the gimmick was starting to grow stale. The corporate ministry ran its course, and fans were now looking to Triple H, The Rock, and Mankind as the top guys in the company, especially with Steve Austin's diminishing role in the ring due to his injuries. Undertaker needed to freshen himself up, which he attempted in the summer of 1999. What's amazing in hindsight is that the gimmick he did was a prototype for what he would do when he returned in 2000. In August of 99, The Undertaker and The Big Show began teaming together as the Unholy Alliance. On the August 16th edition of Raw, The Undertaker came out in his full ministry attire with Big Show and Paul Bearer, but instead of cutting a Lord of Darkness promo, he just spoke in his normal Mark Calloway voice. Undertaker then began to tell a story. It was a story about he and brother Paul, Big Show's real name is Paul White, rode out into the middle of Death Valley at the height of summer as a test to see if Big Show would be a good partner for him at SummerSlam. Part of this initiation was that brother Paul's bike would only have enough gas in the tank to get him to the middle of the desert, not to get back. When Taker asked brother Paul what he would do, he responded that he would wait until Taker was asleep, stab him in the back, rip off his skin for a coat, and then eat his flesh until he found food. Problem for Big Show's plan was that The Undertaker doesn't sleep, and the Phenom drove off. According to Undertaker's story, Big Show then reappeared on the outskirts of the desert a couple of days later, wearing a snakeskin tie, lizard boots, and carrying his bike on his shoulder. As Dave Meltzer wrote in the August 23rd, 1999 edition of the Wrestling Observer, Undertaker sure was doing a boring interview before Jericho interrupted. The content of this promo is utterly bizarre, especially since it was an incredible departure from his previous gimmick. It also didn't make a whole lot of sense. Snakeskin ties? Lizard boots? The hell is he talking about? The Unholy Alliance would win the tag team titles from Kane and X-Pac at SummerSlam, but Taker tore his groin and couldn't wrestle. They would lose the straps to Rock and Sock Connection on the 30th of August edition of Raw, when Undertaker didn't actually tag in at all, and then somehow won them back even though Taker couldn't wrestle, and then lost them again when Ministry Hangovers Mideon and Viscera subbed in for him. An interesting side note to the story is that Chris Jericho got into a lot of trouble over Taker's Bikes in the Desert promo. Y2J had just debuted in the company the week previous, interrupting The Rock. The idea behind his gimmick was that he would cut off top guys and then run his mouth, even though he couldn't back it up. After Taker had cut this rambling promo about bikes and snakeskin ties, Jericho called him the personification of boring. In his book Undisputed, Jericho notes this got him a lot of heat with Taker and even HBK. I walked past Shawn Michaels, who glared at me incredulously and offered the following advice. The next time you cut a promo, maybe you want to avoid calling the biggest star in the company and the leader of the locker room boring. Jericho went from interrupting The Rock and The Undertaker to feuding with Road Dogg and X-Pac. It would be a few years before he got the main event push he was meant to get at the start of his run. Interestingly, while the promo seemed to be a lead-in for what would become the American Badass gimmick, there was an ulterior motive, according to Kevin Nash at least, so take this with a big pinch of salt. Big Sexy claims Undertaker changed his character from the dead man to a biker so he could walk into WCW as Mark Calloway and carry across the non-trademarkable gimmick. He became the American Badass for a reason. That dead man wasn't gonna come to WCW, he would have been the biker character and gone by Mark Calloway. All along, I was trying to get guys money. I was trying to get guys paid. And what happened was Vince started giving huge guarantees to the Shawns and Undertakers and those guys and said, I can't lose my core guys. Instead, Taker stayed with the WWF and returned to in-ring action following the debut of his American Badass character at Judgment Day 2000, coming out to interfere in the Iron Man match between Rock and Triple H. Hey, do you remember when WCW botched Sting's title win at Starrcade 1997? And what is the real reason Brock Lesnar left WWE in 2004? Click the videos to the left to find out more. Press subscribe and support WrestleTalk on Patreon. I have been Luke Owen, and that was Remembering.